Hi friends, and welcome to Gilded Loop. My name is Matt. Today I'm bringing you a yarn review. I'm so excited for this yarn review. I worked really hard on it to try to bring you an honest review of a yarn that I purchased with my own money and that I in fact do love, and share with you the good things about it and the things that maybe could be a little bit better, or any of the things just to notice. I do have 9 colorways to show you, and today we are going to be reviewing Heartland Yarn. So this is Heartland by Lion Brand, and I have Mammoth Cave, and I have Black Canyon, and I have Yosemite, Hot Springs, Olympic, Kobuk Valley. Hopefully I might be able to hold all of these. We have Badlands. We have Kings Canyon. And lastly, but certainly not least, Cuyahoga Valley. So we have all of these delicious Heartland yarns from Lion Brand to show you today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into those yarn reviews and take a look at all these swatches. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started here. Let's first start out by just taking a look at the yarn itself. So this is Lion Brand Heartland Yarn. I love Lion Brand. They are tried and true, and most of the time what they have and the colorways that they have at least stick around for a while. Some people complain and say that they don't bring out enough innovative things or change things up. Like, for example, Premier is one that I can think of that is always doing something different, always bringing out new lines, different things like that. Lion Brand does bring out new lines sometimes, but they stick to the tried and true method. Where they find something that works, they stick with it, and at least that yarn stays around for a little while. And I appreciate that, because sometimes it can be really frustrating when you finally find something that you like, and next thing you know, it's gone and you can't find it. So Heartland has been around for a while. They released a couple new colors a few years back, but it's not going anywhere. They have, this is the worsted weight, the 4-weight yarn. They also have this in chunky, but the colorways in the chunky and the 5-weight is a little bit different. So you can see this is a 4 medium. The hook size that it recommends is a 6mm hook. Okay, 6mm or 5.5 if you are a knitter. You get 251 yards, 230 meters, 5-ounce skein here, which is 142 grams. It's 100% acrylic. It is machine washable and dryable. So that's one thing that I really love about this, is that you can throw this in the washing machine. It's not lay flat to dry. You're not going to have any issues with it. It is a really soft yarn as well. It's just something to note. The color we're going to be working here first is called Mammoth Cave. Now, it's called Heartland Yarn because these yarns are named after a particular area of the country. You have Mammoth Cave, it's an actual place out west. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. So this is our stitch sample here. All of these stitch samples that you're going to see today were done with the interlocking shell stitch. I recently did a tutorial on the interlocking shell stitch, and I will attach a link to that here as well. But this is Mammoth Cave. Mammoth Cave is very much a taupe. I notice that on screen it's coming up slightly a little bit darker than what I see in person under the lights here, but it's really nice. I have a hard time describing this Heartland yarn. It's not really a stonewash look, but it almost feels like there's like two different variations of color woven in together, but I think it's just a little bit, a lightly stonewashed, but it really does come across looking very nice. Hopefully you can really pick that up. It has pretty nice stitch definition, I would say. It's got nice drape. I tested out a couple different hook sizes when doing this, because when I first looked at this, I said, no way 6mm is the right. So it's 6mm or a J10 if you go by the US terms. So I said to myself, there's no way a J or a 6mm is the right lift for this. I thought, no way, it's got to be 5.5. So I tested out 5.5 and I tested out a 6.5. So I went down 0.5 millimeter and up 0.5 millimeter for you all here today. And I have 10 samples to show you today. So this did take a little while to put together, so hopefully you do appreciate it. Let's go ahead and look at the smaller gauge sample here with the 5.5. So I did this. This is like their black, and you can really tell that this one is very clearly black and like white. I would say 75 to 80% black and maybe 20% white woven in. This is called Black Canyon. It's all the same stats. All these are all going to be the same stats, so I'm not going to go over that again. So this is Black Canyon. This is the sample with Black Canyon. So this is a 5.5. It is really, you can't see any holes in this. I think the 5.5 is nice. It is a little bit more dense or firm, if you will. But I was really kind of surprised with this. Look at the difference in size. This is the exact same stitch pattern. This is 6mm and this is a 5.5 millimeter. Make sure I have these all lined up properly. Yeah. So you can really see the difference in the size that you get out of a 5.5 versus a 6. Okay. Now, I wanted to also make sure that I shared with you what the 6.5 looks like. So let's go into that colorway. So this is the what I did in the 6.5. This colorway is called Badlands, and Badlands is about 80% like a maroon color and 20%, I would say, a rosish, yeah, like a rose color. So maroon and rose kind of added together. And this is Badlands, and here is our stitch sample for Badlands. So you can really see, you can see a lot more holes in this with this stitch pattern than you did with the 5.5. So again, this is 6.5. So again, let's go ahead and line these all up. Okay. So this is what we're looking at. You can really tell the difference. So 5.5 here with Black Canyon, almost no holes. You do see the pattern in the stitch definition a little bit. Then we have 6, which is what it recommends, and then we have the 6.5. So that really gives you a good visual representation of how hook sizes can make a difference in the size of the project that you're working on. So this one, yes, it does have drape. The best way that I could almost describe what this looks like over time you would almost get like a felted like appearance out of it. It loses a little bit in the stitch definition when you do go down to the 5.5, if I'm being completely honest. When you go to the 6.5, there's just like it's a little bit harder to work with. It's very drapey, but your holes are going to be a lot more pronounced in the 6.5. And then you have the 6, and the 6 just, I don't know, to me it just seems like the perfect marriage, exactly how I would want it to be. Nice drape, just kind of works out well. So in my opinion, I think they got it right with the 6, and I know that they do a lot of research on that, but if you're looking for something to be, you know, have less holes in your pattern, be a little bit more dense, the 5.5 is really nice. Still very nice. 6.5, I don't prefer this. I wouldn't necessarily want to work with this. One thing that I will say is there are no issues with frogging with this particular yarn, none that I was able to find. It does frog just fine, but it splits a little bit, not terribly, but at times, if you're not careful, there is a little bit of splitting. Okay, so this color that we have right here is your rust, your burnt orange, whatever you want to call it. So this is about 80% pumpkin orange, 20% like a light brown. So that's kind of what we're dealing with that. This is Yosemite. And here is our sample for Yosemite. This is done in the standard 6 millimeter or J. So the stitch definition is fantastic. It's so soft. This would make fantastic garments. So if you're looking for something to maybe make a sweater out of or anything along those lines, it feels really nice against the skin. It's nice and soft. It's really nice. In fact, my intention was to make wearables out of this. But with making all these samples, I could see how this would make a really, really nice Afghan or blanket as well. I just really like a lot of the color options that they have with this. They're just like earthy tones, you know? So again, that's Yosemite. That is your burnt orange. And this is the perfect burnt orange. There are a lot of different orangey colors. This is not bright. It's not a super vibrant color, but it's just got a richness to the texture, a richness to the color. It's like that perfect burnt orange. And I've shared with you in other videos, I love a burnt orange. It's one of my favorites. All right, so next we have the blue. This was very hard to gauge what it was going to look like when I saw it online, because I had a hard time finding this in the store. This is the color Olympic, and this is a navy and a light blue woven together. Kind of see that there. And here is our sample for this. So let's kind of get a little closer up as well. But that's what we're looking like with Olympic. It is really nice. It's almost like, it's like a marbled blue. You can really see the depth of the color with the light and the dark blue together. I think it looks very nice. If you were trying to make a scarf for a guy or someone who just likes more masculine tones, this is really nice. Very nice. I could see maybe pairing this with another color, or even with the black. Those would go really nice together. So that is Olympic. Now, this next one, I was so nervous to do. I really wanted to get this colorway. This is their tealish colorway. But I wanted it so bad because it is called Cuyahoga Valley. Now, I live in Ohio, and I live in the Cuyahoga Valley. Like, I could literally take a bike ride 2 miles down the road, and I'm in the Cuyahoga Valley. So I really wanted to love this color. I saw it and I said, ah, gosh, it's so bright and kind of in your face, and I don't know if I liked it or what could I pair it with. Um, I'll have some examples to show you later. But these are teals, so you're dealing with almost like a hunter green mixed in with like this bright teal color, and it just comes off nice and tealy. So it's a nice teal. So here's our sample that we have for Cuyahoga Valley. So let's get a little bit closer up in there. You can definitely, again, just like the blue, you can really see these marbled textures. If you're as old as I am, you remember this was a really popular color in like in the 90s, really. This paired with black, or even that other blue could be really nice. I would really like this paired with black. This and this, stunning. It surprised me. That's all I'm going to say. I was nervous about doing this one because I wanted to love it, and I didn't love it when I just saw it on the skein. But when I saw it worked up, yes, 1,000% yes. Love it. It's like a marbled teal. Really, really nice. Highly recommend. Okay. Let's do the next one here, which is also one of my favorite shades. I really, really love the shade. I saw this online, and above every other shade, my heart melted over this one. I just love it. It is called Kings Canyon, and it's very much greens. We're dealing with it's like hunter and moss green, almost mixed together, but when you stand back, it's just got such a rich texture. I would wear this in a wearable by itself with no other color every day of the week. I love green though. I've shared that with you all before. Here is our sample for this. Look how beautiful that is. Look at the definition that you have. I really think that the stitch definition just stands out so much more because you have kind of the two different colorways complementing each other that are woven together. So let's get a little bit of a closer look at that. So you can really see the stitch definition, and you can see these two colors together. I searched and I searched and I searched to try to find things with this. And I did struggle, but I did find some samples. And you know what I saw a lot of samples done up in this color is like Irish things, like Irish dancers, scarves, Celtic knots, things like that. It does lead really nicely into that. It really is a stunning color. And again, would look really good with any of the other colors as well. Really, really like this. Okay, we're more than halfway through. Let's go ahead and look at some of the purples. Okay, so this one is a lighter purple. And this one is called Kobuk Valley. And what we're dealing with here is we are dealing with a deep lavender color mixed with like a rose or even pink. I would even call that pink. A pink and a deep, darker like lavender color kind of mixed together. And it's very pretty. I like it a lot. Here is our sample that we have for that. So it, again, the two colors mixed together do so much for the stitch definition. Just gives it this really nice appearance. And this yarn has a little bit of a sheen. I think you can kind of pick that up on the camera a little bit. It's not like Caron Simply Soft, but it's got a little bit of a sheen, which is nice. It helps that stitch definition really stand out. In fact, it does remind me a little bit of Caron Simply Soft. So that is our first shade of purple. All right, second shade of purple. Again, I was really nervous to get this one, but I saw it and I said, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it. This is like a bright purple. When I say it's bright, I mean it's bright. And this is Hot Springs. This is, look at this bright purple mixed with black almost. I don't think it's quite black, but it's like a deep, 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 deep plum. So, two different shades of purple. And a lot of these are like two different shades of the same color, a dark and a light. And I think that's why it just looks so nice together. Now, here is our stitch sample. Boom. Look at that. It's so pretty. It's like, this is vibrant plum. That's the only way I can describe it. Vibrant plum. So, you see the darks and the lights? They really just do so much for the stitch definition. They make it pop. Now, look at that. And that. The two purples together. How stunning. That looks awesome. All right. Well, I promised you, if you stuck around to the end, that I would have a surprise for you, and I do. So, what I have to show you here today is a sample with several of the colors done up together. Forgive my sides. I didn't quite weave all the ends in properly, but I picked 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors, and I used this same pattern. So this also lets you see what the interlocking shell stitch pattern looks like if you were to switch colors every single row. But I picked the colors that I thought go nicely together. So I like the two purples. The black kind of marries everything together, and I used this Cuyahoga Valley, this teal color, as like the pop of color. And you could really pair anything together, but you have your purples, you have your pop of color, and then you have your black to kind of tie it all in together. So let's come up a little bit closer so you can see a little bit more of what that looks like. Now, if you were to use this pattern and you were to want to go and change all your rows, my recommendation for you would be do 2 rows of the same color, because then you can carry your yarn up the side and you don't have to trim it after every single row like I did here. As soon as I started doing this, I'm like, oh, I should have did 2 rows. But yeah, if you do 2 rows, you go this way and then this way, and then this way and then this way, and you're constantly able to carry your yarn up the sides. But anyway, this, I think it looks really great. Imagine this in like a scarf, or imagine this in like a hexagon cardigan. It would just be a showstopper, something that would really stand out. So this is just to kind of give you an idea. Also, this pattern is the same on both sides, so it's reversible. So just really kind of gives you an idea of what kind of looks like when you pair some of these colors together. So that is what I have for you today. Just to bring some of these samples back together so you can take a peek at them one last time. Black. Don't forget this color. This, which turned out to be one of my favorites. Our green. And finally, the perfect rust. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, engage. I really appreciate it. I did put a lot of effort into making sure to bring this yarn review to you, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Make sure to tune in soon, as there'll be some more content coming very soon. Thanks again for stopping by, and have a great day. Bye-bye.